Right, the first thing I have to do is find the slope of the given line. That way we can use it to find the slope of our line we want to create, our new line. So they tell us that the line we want to create is perpendicular to 5x minus 2y equals 6. Probably the easiest way to find the slope of this line is to put the equation in slope-intercept form. In other words, solve it for y. That way the slope will be the coefficient of the x. So to solve this equation for y, the first thing I'll do is move the 5x to the right-hand side of the equation, which causes its sign to change. And then I can divide by -2, and I have y equals positive 5/2 x minus 3. And so now I see that the slope of this line is 5/2. Right, and so that's the answer to the first question. Find the slope of the line they gave me. Now, if two lines are perpendicular, they have negative reciprocal slopes. So the slope of the line that we want to create would be -2/5. That's called the negative reciprocal. Basically, we change the sign and we flip it, and so that gives us the answer to the next question. Find the slope of a line that's perpendicular to that. So again, if two lines are perpendicular, they have negative reciprocal slopes, and so we change the sign and flip. Okay, so we now have all of the information we need to write the equation of the new line. And lines have three forms, and they want us to write the line in all three forms: point slope form, slope intercept, and standard form. So our slope is -2/5, and the point they gave me that's on the line is 4, -3. So point slope form is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And the 4, of course, is the x1, and the -3 is the y1. And so plugging everything in, we have y minus y1, which is -3, equals the slope, which is -2/5, and then x minus x1. And we have that double negative on the left side, so I can rewrite this as y plus 3 equals -2/5 times x minus 4. Excuse me. And that's the point slope form. And so that's right up here. Now we can take point slope form. We can take this and rearrange it to put it in slope intercept form, which again is up here. Y equals mx plus b is slope intercept form. To put this equation in slope intercept form, first we'll get rid of the parentheses by distributing the -2/5. So we have y plus 3 equals -2/5 x plus -2/5 times -4 will be positive, and 2 times 4, that's 8. So 2/5 times 4 is 8/5. And now we need to subtract 3 from both sides in order to solve for y. And so we have y equals -2/5 x, and 8/5 minus 3, let's see, that'd be -7/5. 8/5 minus 3, if needed, we could remind ourselves that 3 is the same thing as 15/5. That way we have a common denominator, and there's where that -7/5 comes from. So here we have slope-intercept form, which is the answer to the next question. Finally, they want the answer in standard form. Standard form is ax plus by equals c. And so that means we have to put the x and the y terms on the left-hand side of the equation. So we're picking back up right here from slope-intercept form. I'm going to move the negative 2/5 x to the left side. So we have 2/5 x plus y equals negative 7/5. And at that point right there, it's basically standard form. But often it's the case that we rewrite standard form, we simplify a little bit with no fractions, and it's often customary to have the x coefficient positive. And that's what they're saying to do here in the directions. Look at this. It says use integer coefficients. In other words, don't leave it with fractions, get rid of fractions. And they want the a to be greater than 0, equal to 0, which we already have that. The a is positive. That's the number in front of x. But to get rid of the fractions, we can multiply through by the common denominator of 5, and 5 times 2/5 x would be 2x, plus 5 times y is 5y, and then when we multiply 5 by the negative 7/5, it cancels out the 5, and we get negative 7. And so here it is, standard form, all nice and cleaned up like they requested. That's the final answer.